This is the Conscious Hour.
Night's Iranian missile attack on Israel. Iran's Islamic Republican Guard Corps says that on Tuesday night it fired dozens of ballistic missiles at vital military and security targets in Israel. The IRGC said that the targets included, quote, the centers of conspiracy and planning of assassination of Hamas leader Ismail Haniyeh, Hezbollah Secretary General Saeed Hassan Nasrallah, as well as of the military commanders from Hezbollah and Iran's own Revolutionary Guards. Iranian Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi said Wednesday that in carrying out the attack, quote, Iran exercised its right to self-defense under Article 51 of the United Nations Charter. U.S. Vice President Kamala Harris condemned the attack as a, quote, reckless and brazen attack, while British Prime Minister Keir Starmer claimed falsely that, quote, the Iranian regime has launched over 200 ballistic missiles at civilian targets in Israel, and asserted that it was, quote, an attempt to harm innocent Israelis. Both U.S. and British military forces were involved in attempts to repel the attack. Ali, you're currently in Amman, Jordan, and you actually witnessed last night's Iranian missile attack on Israel. What happened and what did you see?
Yes, Nora. Well, yesterday afternoon, the United States issued a warning that it had detected that Iran was preparing to launch missiles towards Israel. I heard that news at around 5 in the afternoon. And around 7:30 in the evening, I heard on Al Jazeera that Iran's Fars news agency was reporting that Iran had just launched its missiles. And I immediately went outside, not knowing what to expect. The sky was clear and it looked like nothing was happened. But then at 7:38 p.m., I started to see one or two strange flashes in the sky, as well as aircraft that did not appear on the flight radar app, which you can use to track air traffic. And that indicates that they were almost certainly military aircraft patrolling the sky. But then very quickly, the sky was absolutely filled with dozens of bright spots streaking across the sky very fast. And this is a video of that I filmed myself. And you'll see now, it was sort of already dark. And there you go. It was just this incredible stream of missiles coming across the sky, like a river flowing through the sky directly from east to west. So really from the direction of Iran towards Israel or occupied Palestine. But also there seemed to be missiles coming in smaller clusters as well. So it wasn't just this one stream, and they would head out west over towards Israel and then drop straight down. At first, it all happened in complete silence. And then it seems like at least a minute or more later, there was just this rumble like thunder, which was the sonic boom. And then it seemed to suddenly stop. And we went inside thinking it was over. But then about 5 minutes later, it started all over again. And there was another big river of missiles. We went up on the roof to watch, and everyone was outside on their roofs and balconies cheering. And there's lots of social media showing that people were celebrating all over Jordan, just as they were in Palestine, as Abu Bakr told us. And it struck me that if this had been during the daytime, we probably would not have seen very much because the sky would have been too bright. And I don't know if there were specific tactical or technical reasons why Iran carried out the attack after dark. But one clear result of that is that millions of people across the region witnessed it with their own eyes. And if that was Iran's intention to make it visible in such a spectacular way, then it was a really brilliant move from a public relations standpoint. I mean, I just can't describe how awesome it was in the true sense of the word.
And did you see any missiles being intercepted by, the Iron Dome, for example?
Well, I did see there were clearly attempts at interceptions, or what looked like there could be interceptions, with missiles coming up from the opposite direction, from the west towards the east. And I think you can even see one in the video we just showed. It's hard to tell how successful those were since everything was happening at high altitude. but it was very clear that the number of interceptors was tiny compared with the number of incoming missiles. So even if there were some successful interceptions, just the sheer number of incoming missiles looks like it would have saturated any air defense system. And I'm not sure it would have been the Iron Dome, since, as we discussed last week, that is more of a short-range system. But as we also discussed, Israel and the United States have longer-range missile defense systems. But there's no way they could have kept up with this.
Yeah. And right after the Iranian action, U.S. President Biden came out and made some comments. Let's look at what he said.
Words about Iran's missile attack on Israel today. At my direction, the United States military actively supported the defense of Israel, and we're still assessing the impact. But based on what we know now, the attack appears to have been defeated and ineffective. And this is testament to Israeli military capability and U.S. military. It's also a testament to intensive planning between the United States and Israel to anticipate and defend against the brazen attack we expected. Make no mistake, the United States is...
All right, so that's enough of that. Biden called this a brazen attack, and he claimed it was defeated and ineffective. How credible is that statement?
It's not credible at all, because there's plenty of video evidence that a very large number of missiles hit their targets on the ground in Israel. And we'll get to the videos in a minute. But first, a statement released by the Pentagon, the U.S. Defense Department, says, quote, 2 Arleigh Burke-class destroyers, the USS Cole and USS Bulkeley, both deployed in the Eastern Mediterranean, fired a dozen interceptors at incoming Iranian ballistic missiles as part of defending Israel, end quote. The statement adds, quote, at this time, it is unknown if those interceptors took down any of the missiles, end quote. Now, that's the only specific reference I could find so far to U.S. involvement in the attempted interceptions. And that was also stated by Pentagon Press Secretary General Pat Ryder at a press conference on Tuesday. Ryder said, quote, during the attack, the U.S. military closely coordinated with the Israeli Defense Forces to help defend Israel. U.S. Navy destroyers deployed in the Middle East region supported the defense of Israel by firing approximately a dozen interceptors against the incoming Iranian missiles. And again, he did not refer to any specific other specific U.S. assets firing missiles. So there really appears to have been a rather minimal American effort. Ryder also claimed, quote, initial reports indicate that Israel was able to intercept the majority of incoming missiles, but videos demonstrate that this is absolutely false. I also want to say, before we get to the videos,
the US
that
media is lying to the
it is
American
possible
public.
that other U.S. assets were used that were based, for example, in Jordan or other Arab countries. There are large U.S. bases here in Jordan. They're just not saying that because of the political unpopularity. Everyone in Jordan was celebrating this, so it just goes against what everyone wants.
Right.
This is The Conscious Hour.